Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're going to try to crack the code on something that's all around us, culture. Think of it like this invisible software that's running in the background of our lives, shaping everything from, a simple handshake all the way to our deepest beliefs.
Okay, let's just start with a quick thought experiment. Picture this. You're traveling, you're in another country, and you make a gesture that you think is totally friendly. But the person you're talking to just looks at you, horrified. What on earth just happened?
Well, that scenario, it's not hypothetical at all. I mean, take the classic OK sign. Here in the US, it means all good, great job, right? But if you do that in Brazil, well, that same gesture is seriously offensive. It's a perfect, kind of jarring example of just how easily wires can get crossed between cultures.
So that brings up the big question, right? Why do we misunderstand each other so easily? It's way more than just speaking different languages. The thing is, we're all operating inside these different cultural systems, and each one has its own set of invisible rules.
You know, when most of us hear that word culture, our minds immediately go to the obvious stuff. The things we can see and taste and hear. We think about amazing food, music, incredible art in museums, big festivals. And look, all of that is part of it, for sure. But it's really just the tip of the iceberg.
And this is where experts make a really useful distinction. They talk about culture with a capital C. That's the art, the literature, all that stuff you'd find in a museum. But then there's culture with a small c, and that's the really deep, invisible programming. It's our behaviors, our values, and all those unwritten rules that guide how we interact with each other every single day.
This idea actually goes way back. The pioneering anthropologist Edward B. Tyler, he put it perfectly back in 1871. He called culture that complex whole. It's not just one thing, right? It's everything. It's our knowledge, our morals, laws, customs, basically all the habits we soak up just by being part of a society. It's kind of like the water we swim in. We don't even notice it's there.
Okay, so when we're trying to make sense of all these complex cultures, our brains naturally look for shortcuts. It's just how we're wired. But that can lead us straight into a really dangerous place, the stereotype trap.
And it is so important to understand the difference between a helpful generalization and a harmful stereotype. Think of it like this. A generalization is a starting point. It's a clue. But a stereotype, that's an ending point. It's rigid, it's oversimplified, and it just slams the door shut on any chance of actually understanding someone.
I mean, look at bullfighting. To the rest of the world, it's this powerful symbol of Spain. But the reality? The vast majority of people in Spain don't like it at all. And no, most of them can't dance flamenco either. It's exactly like assuming every single Brazilian is a samba-dancing soccer superstar. It just turns a whole diverse country into a flat, boring caricature. So a much more useful way to look at things is through communication styles. For example, is a culture low context or high context? In a low context culture, like in the US or Germany, the goal is clarity. You say what you mean directly. But in a high context culture, like in Japan or China, preserving harmony is the most important thing. So a lot of the meaning is found in what isn't said. And that focus on harmony, it has huge real-world consequences. For instance, in a lot of high context cultures, saying no directly feels really confrontational, even rude. So, instead of a simple no, you might get a vague answer, or maybe an excuse. The no is implied because protecting the relationship is way more important than crystal clear, immediate communication.
Okay, so this is all pretty complex, right? How are we supposed to navigate all this without constantly messing up? Well, the answer is to consciously build a specific set of skills. We call it intercultural competence.
So what is that exactly? Simply put, intercultural competence is just the ability to communicate well, effectively, and appropriately with people from other cultures. And here's the most important thing to remember. This is not some special talent you're born with. It is absolutely a skill. And just like any other skill, you can learn it and you can get better at it.
So what exactly is in this toolkit? Well, according to researcher D.K. Deardorff's work, it all starts with the foundation of respect for other people and this is key, self-awareness of your own cultural lens. You got to know your own starting point. Then, on top of that, you build skills like true active listening, being adaptable, and something called cultural humility, which is really about having a constant awareness of your own biases. Now, these skills, they aren't just, nice to have abstract ideas. They have massive, real-world consequences. And if you want to see just how high the stakes can get, all we have to do is look at the experiences of international students.
Researcher Abu Kamara's work shows that for so many international students, the struggle doesn't just end when they get their diploma. Sure, they often go home with a lot of debt and stress, but they also face this totally new, unexpected challenge. Their time away has fundamentally changed them, and the new ways they see the world can really clash with the way things are done back home.
And this brings up a really tough question that Kamara raises. Think about it. If a university fundamentally changes how a student sees the world, does it then have some kind of moral responsibility for helping that student fit back into their home culture? I mean, that's a huge ethical question with no easy answer.
So here's the big takeaway, the so what of all this. Building these skills, it's not just about, avoiding an awkward moment with a hand gesture or messing up a business deal. It's so much deeper than that. It's really about developing genuine empathy. It's about being more effective in the incredibly connected world we all live in. And ultimately, it's about building real, lasting bridges of understanding.
And that leaves us with one final thought, a question for you to really think about. What are the invisible, small c cultural rules that you live by? How do they color your judgments, shape your gut reactions, and frame your entire view of the world?